Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. As you know, every Tuesday I share a different video. I post a new one about topics that we discuss in the dojo. Now, if you're wondering what the dojo is, you can go look at all of that. But it's a place where we meet virtually every Tuesday and we talk about topics like these. We have conversations around the topic. So you're going to see exactly the topic that we talked about. And if you join us live, you get to be part of that conversation. And if you're unable to join us live, well, then you still get the benefit of seeing the topic because here you are watching the video. So welcome, and I hope that you get a lot out of it. I'm excited about today's conversation because I'm talking about inner work. And I think that, when this topic came up for me, I'm like, wow, inner work, but is it really work? Because anyone who's ever done any inner work, they know that there's something they had to do or chose to do, really, in order to get to a certain level of consciousness. And after having done it, things have changed in their life. They've usually changed for the better. So that's where my question comes up. Inner work. Is it really work? Is it work or is it something that we get to do as an opportunity? Like we have this opportunity to feel better about ourselves, love ourselves more, have more self-confidence, create more money, create fulfilling relationships, have the job that we love. We get to do this as we expand our consciousness. And that's usually what people are talking about when they talk about inner work. So that being said, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see what we discussed today as far as inner work goes. And then, of course, I will come back to you. But there again, we meet at the dojo every Tuesday virtually. You're welcome to join us. Check that out. Today, of course, we're going to be talking about inner work. Is it really work? And last week, we talked about opening prosperity consciousness. That was kind of mind-blowing for some of the women who were there in attendance virtually. And if you missed that, if you weren't able to join us live, or if you did not see the video that I posted last week, I will post a link to this video at the end of this video so you can refer to it and see, how you want to move it back and forth. But if you look back on my channel, you'll see that all of these topics, while they work individually, if you are watching them, each of them, they all kind of add on to another. It's like, you have this toolbox and you are getting all of these tools to put in your toolbox. And at any given time, you can go back and say, oh yeah, what was that one on? And here you go. So if you haven't looked at the previous videos, I invite you to do so and check out Opening Prosperity Consciousness from last week as well. But today we're going to be talking about inner work. Now, inner work, in my opinion, it's like removing a stone from your shoe. Once you recognize what's bothering you, you can remove it and be free of the pain. That really sums up inner work for me. And for me, inner work started when I was trying to figure out or understand, or I would actually have to be honest and say, fighting against the traumas of my childhood. So at that time, I was a student, competitor, and teacher in the martial arts. I was teaching self-defense classes, and I really felt like everything was about a physical fight, wanting to protect myself, wanting to resist with the things that I didn't want. But the more my teachers helped me understand the philosophies behind the martial arts, the inner work, that opportunity to go within, now inner work became something different for me. It was like this opportunity, just like I said here, to remove the stone from your shoe. Hey, there's something causing me pain. It was emotional pain, of course, and I wanted it to stop. And inner work did that for me. So, of course, once I learned how to do it and how fabulous it was a no-brainer for me to want to turn around and teach other people about this. And you know that this is a fact. How do you know this? Because if it wasn't, there wouldn't be so many life coaches out there also having done some type of inner work around something in their life. And they turn around and said, whoa, I can turn around and teach this to others. And then some of them are even doing a business around it. So you know that this really is impactful. And the thought that I really want to, I guess, get behind today is it really work? Because if you're doing something that's actually taking the pain away, I mean, is that work? Yeah, there's some action parts to it, but that's what we're going to be discussing today. So, should inner work be labeled as work or an opportunity to be pain-free? If the end result frees you from pain and suffering, doesn't inner work actually create endless possibilities? Think about that for a minute. So if something is bothering you from, let's say, your childhood, something that you lived through a painful experience, something that's still triggering you in your adult life, or something that keeps showing up, and you realize, hey, this is a habit, or this is a pattern. This just keeps showing up in my life. And there was a way to let that go. Wouldn't that open up endless possibilities for you? I mean, if you were no longer in an unfulfilling relationship, or you could change your finances, or you could change your health, or expand your spiritual consciousness, I mean, wouldn't that open up some endless possibilities for you? It has for me. So, of course, it's up to each individual what we choose to do, but the opportunity is there. So many people stay in their known zone. Now, that's a Nancy word. If you go and Google that, you'll probably not find anything, but it's a word that I made up years and years ago when I first started doing the work that I do, because I found that, a lot of people use that term comfort zone. Oh, I'm in my comfort zone. I have to step out of my comfort zone. But when you use that term, now it's like you're telling yourself, or someone else is telling you, that you have to get uncomfortable. But really, and when someone tells you that you have to get uncomfortable, that's kind of, it puts you in that space of resistance. But when someone tells you, okay, this is what you know, and so are you ready to open your mind to what you have not yet learned? And if so, then you will know more, and you can step into making different choices based on this new knowledge that you have, this expanded knowledge. So for me, that's what the known zone and is all about. So our known zone is where we feel like we're in control. But since we can only make decisions based on what we know, doesn't it make sense that we would want to get to know who we are and what we're capable of? I mean, I can't say that I always thought that was the case, but the more I created a daily practice around getting to know myself, getting to know what's possible, getting to know that we have endless possibilities, now I started to see, like, well, gosh, I'm not stuck in any one thing. I could really go out and do whatever I want to do. And the only way to do that is to step outside of your known zone. I think it was Maya Angelou who said, do what you know until you know better, and then do better. And that's really it. But what happens to us when we make decisions based on what we know, and then we say, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't done that. Now, there's that opportunity to say, wish I hadn't done that, and judge ourselves and get down on ourselves. Or we can say, I did the best that I could with the knowledge that I had. I really felt like the choices I made were coming from my heart. I was, trying to be the best me that I could be for all involved. And that's all you can do. But we don't do that, right? We get so down on ourselves, we judge ourselves, and we keep, that cycle going about self-recrimination and self-loathing. And then we use that to bring down our value and our worth in our minds. So that's what, this inner work opportunity is all about. Work and opportunity are both action words, and one can produce action without results, while the other conjures a vision of rewards. Let's think about that. You might even feel like stopping the video a couple times and just ruminating. Like when I say something, if it's something that you're like, huh, if you feel that, huh, that's your cue, stop the video, pause it, and think about what just went through my mind when she said that. These are really great learning opportunities for you. One of the many rewards for doing inner work, or as I like to call it, expanding my knowledge, allows you to win the battle between your darkness and your light. Think about that. It's Marianne Williamson who said, it's not our darkness that frightens us most, it's our light. Because once we actually learn that, whoa, I could do this, I'm doing this, and I'm doing something I never even dreamed I could do. But then you step back and you go, well, if I could do this, what else could I do? And that's what frightens us. That's where that stopping point is for a lot of people. Because, right, that goes back to your known zone. Well, I'm doing this, so I know I can do it. And then when I think, what else could I do? Now that's an unknown, and that's where we step back. But when you start being open, I guess, to inner work, that's when you realize, like, okay, I've done this, and I know it expanded me here. It expanded my awareness, it expanded my consciousness, it expanded my knowledge. So if I allow myself, if I'm open to, if I agree to, if I make the choice to learn a little bit more or step into my light, what else is possible for me? So when you embrace your light, you'll know it. Because from that moment on, anytime you recall the memory that used to be painful, you will no longer feel the pain. It will merely be a memory without an emotion. Now, I speak from experience with this because trust me, 30 years ago, if someone had said to me, hey, you know what? There's going to be a time when you're going to do this thing called inner work, and it is going to take all the pain away from the experiences that you had in childhood. I would have said, are you freaking kidding me? There's no way. Do you even know like the stuff that I went through? Do you know what was done to me? Do you know what I lived through? No, it was painful. It was hurtful. It was on and on and on. And of course, that would be me holding on to this identity of pain. And we talked about that last week in opening your prosperity consciousness, knowing what you are and what you are not. We are not pain, suffering, lack, limitation. We are not those things. But we believe we are those things when we have experienced them and no one has taught us anything different. So inner work allows us to open ourselves up for this. And that's where we start to realize, like, hey, I am more than I think I am. Can you think of a better gift to give yourself? I mean, I can't, truly. When I think about what I have learned about myself, about life, about others, about what I will and will not accept in my life, I can't think of a better gift that I've given myself or that someone else has given me. And I mean, isn't it wonderful just to know like that you are a gift giving person, especially to yourselves? Like I am continuously receiving this gift of value, this gift of knowledge, this gift of awareness. It is really the most amazing thing you can do for yourself. So my intention for creating today's topic is to invite you to define what inner work means to you. And if you've never done any kind of inner work, does it scare you? Like when you say inner work, what is that? Do I have to feel my feelings? Do I have to hash over things that happened in the past? I don't want to think about those things. So what is your definition of it? What do you think will happen? What do you think happens when you open yourself up to doing inner work? What does it even mean to you? Because your definition, as you understand it, is going to be the deciding factor of whether or not you open yourself to it or you are closed off to it. So working for something means taking action for something you don't have. You take action when you go to the store for milk because you're out of milk. When you already have it, it's simply a matter of looking in a different place. So we already have confidence, worthiness, value, love, acceptance, joy, happiness, love. I mean, we already have that, but we can experience things in life that can cause us to feel like those things are missing. And inner work, it really just lets you know what? I know it's here. I just got to move things around a little bit. And there it is. It's hiding in the back, just like this milk, just hiding in the back. It's hiding on the door. Oh, I just have to look in a different place. And that's what inner work is all about. And that's why it can be so life affirming. Our purpose is to experience ourselves as sentient beings. This is our light. Once you experience that light, even for a moment, you know that life is not about material possessions. It's about a feeling. When I heard Neil Donald Walsh say this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to include that saying in this topic today, because when you really think about it, what are most of us taught? We're taught that when you get the house, you get the marriage, you get the kids, you get the perfect job, you get the whatever, that is when you're going to be happy, that is your light. But our light has nothing to do with material possessions. But when you're walking in your light, when you really know, like, I am open to knowing who I am, I am open to learning more of who I am, all of these things that you say you want just naturally come to you. And that can be hard for us to believe, because most of us were taught the flip side of that. So inner work really opens us up to that field of possibilities. And that's something we talked about a couple weeks ago in the dojo. So since inner work is about how we feel in every experience, we learn to get better at doing less and being more. So we do less doing and more being. What does that mean? Well, when you're doing something, a lot of us think, okay, I have this big to-do list, and I feel accomplished because I'm continually doing things. I have something tangible. It shows my value and my worth. And so we're constantly, running, doing. But when we take the time to be, when you take the time to sit and say, I am consciousness, I am awareness, I am health, I am wellness, I am wealth. Now you start to become aware of the many more opportunities that are available to you. And we can only do that when we take time to sit and contemplate who we are, whether it's prayer, meditation, whatever works best for you. That time that we take for ourselves of being still, of being quiet. We are in that state of being. Remember, your state of being is how you feel in any given moment. And when you are in that allowing state, that's when you are in an energy, a vibrational frequency of receiving all of those things that you say you really want. It's that state of allowing instead of that resistance, or I've got to do more, or how am I going to make this happen? When you're constantly asking how, you're in resistance. When you're in the state of allowing, you're in your most powerful state. Inner work teaches you to get better at feeling your highest and happiness expression of who you are, so that you can create more of these feelings in any area of your life. You will know which people to hang around and which people to walk away from, as you easily set healthy boundaries for yourself. When you are aware of who you are, when you really value yourself, when you have the confidence to say, this is what I will and will not accept, when you have that confidence and you feel so worthy to be able to make that known, that is the gift that you give yourself. That is inner awareness. That is knowing who you are. That is that self-confidence to love yourself. Inner work can be so powerful, but it's not a one and done thing. We talked about that last week as well. When you have that prosperity consciousness, what does that mean? It means that you are feeling prosperous in all areas of your life, meaning you are everything. You are part of the one. You are part of the whole. And that is what you will accept. That is what you will allow instead of restriction or limiting yourself. When you get really good at feeling how you want to feel, you can't help but to attract the things you want. So even though we call it work, is it really work, or is it an opportunity for a happier and more fulfilling life? You know this works. You know it works because you hear so many people saying that it works. You hear so many people talking about it. But if this is not something that you have experienced or incorporate as a daily practice, you might find it hard to believe. But we really do attract what we think about the most, where our energy, where our focus goes. We are the attractors. We are creators. A practitioner of inner work knows if it isn't fun, don't think it and don't do it. Just don't do it. And you might say to yourself, but I have to do this, or this is expected of me. But if it's something that you feel is being forced upon you, something that you're doing that doesn't bring you joy, don't do it. And then allow yourself to say, you know what? I'm making this choice because I love me. I love me, and this is who I want to be and how I want to feel in the moment. Happiness is our true nature. If we are unhappy, we are not being true to who we are. What if we change the term inner work to knowing who we really are? After all, the more we realize who we are and who we are not, the more we realize how powerful we are and what we're truly capable of. When you know who you are, you also know who you are not. You are not pain, suffering, lack, sadness, depression, or unhappiness. When you know who you are not, the greatest healing is waking up to what you are not. Think about that. You might want to pause and just think about that. When you know who you are, that's the greatest healing because now you know who you are not. When you do, you're more open to asking yourself, who am I? And that is how we open and experience prosperity consciousness, which is exactly what we talked about last week. So inner work, it's about loving you. It's about how do you want to show up as you. There wouldn't be so many people teaching this information if there wasn't something really fabulous about it. And this is my way of walking in my light. Having this information, being able to share it, being able to pay it forward, however I can. I hope that I said something here today that really got you thinking about, hey, you know what? I've been looking at it this way, or maybe I've been afraid to do this, or maybe I've been hesitant to even learn more about this. What is it that everyone's talking about? And if I have, great. Visit me at masteringyourbeliefs.com. Look around, get some free resources, download whatever calls to you, book a power hour, whatever calls to you. But I can tell you from experience, if there is something that is weighing you down in mind, body, and soul, it is not who you are. And because it is not who you are, you deserve to heal that part of you so that you can love your life and party like purple. I hope this message was all that you had hoped for when you decided to watch it. And in the meantime, this is Nancy Muller, the one and only Life Sensei, saying ciao for now.